everybody, it's Wednesday. Welcome to the party. Hello. Who is with me this evening? Light up my screen here, folks. Tracy is first. Melissa, you need to set the treadmill on slow. This is going to be a long one tonight. So hang in there. You need to pace yourself tonight. Jennifer, how are you? Welcome to the party. Adele's there. Vina. Kitty, how did a day without baking go, Jennifer? Tracy. Oh, I feel like I didn't actually talk to you. I just emailed with you today, Jennifer. Kurt, I messaged with you today. Andrew. Jenny Walker, Miss Pasadena is in the house. I just hung up with you. Sarah, Stephanie, Alicia, Shelley, Eric Abrams, how are you? I am better than I deserve, Dawn. Cheers, everybody. It's a scotch night. Mainly, again, scotch is our go-to because we don't have time to pour anything else. Alexa, where's poor Max? I need to show Alexa poor Max. Is Max right there? Where's Max? Oh, there's Max. Alexa, here's Max. Max definitely needs your grooming skills, needs your grooming table. Poor Max here. Look at poor Max. He needs you, Alexa. I'm gonna bring him to San Antonio. Oh, I could send Jennifer. That's a great idea, Melissa. I could send her an Easy Bake Oven. We have a couple in the store right now. Yes, we did. We had that pink calculator out and fired up for you, Jenny. Hello, Vicky. Chris, the Acostas are in the house. The whole family, I'm told. The whole Acosta family. I am in their living room. Joanne, great to have you in here. All right, you be ready for him, Alexa. I will be knocking at the door. Be careful what you wish for when you never know when Neil will be knocking at your door. Chris is joining us. Thank you, Chris. Michelle. It's funny how Facebook lines you up in states. So we got Chris in Ohio and Michelle in Ohio all signing in at the same time, or at least that's the way Facebook puts you on my screen. I don't know. I don't do lives enough, except for this, to do that. Christine, so now we're on Pennsylvania. All right. And then Chris and Joanne are on the screen at the same time, so I have Chicago. I got a lot of stuff tonight, Karen. It has been an unbelievably crazy day. I could not have predicted the way today went. Give me an O. Give me an H. Now, Ohio. Okay, you don't hire me to sing here, people. Actually, you don't hire me to do much. New Mexico's in the house. Kelly. I owe you stuff, too. I know I owe... and Chris shows up with the I-O. I love it. Michelle with the O and the H. Chris with the I and the O. Jana's in the house. See, just like that. Jana in Texas, Cynthia Riley in Texas, both popped in at the same time on my screen. I swear Facebook has some regionalization in the way that they have that all pop up in the screen. So, I just think that's kind of cool. That's the geeky side of me. Okay, there's a lot of geeky side to me. Ask the Acosta kids. Hey, Lisa, how are you? Where are you from, Lisa Rumsey? You all sound Southern to me. I know my Southern. I've dealt a lot of Southern today. It's all good, folks. We have got so many great things happening in the world. It's going to be a great day. It is Hump Day! Yes! Glynis, you're in Florida? I thought Jennifer hangs out in Florida. I am, so confused. South Carolina, Lisa. That is great. South Carolina is an awesome place. Spent a lot of time there. All right. Cynthia's got her howdy on. Howdy, partners. That is great. I am so blessed to have you all here with me this evening. I got to open my good night book, my good morning, good night book. Lindsay Johnson is joining us. Let's, I don't know if there's a difference between... Okay, so we've got our good morning, good night book. And our good morning today is, good morning. Take care of each other. Take care of yourself. Repeat. That is our good morning today. Okay, my file. Okay, we're going to put the pink calculator down. Hey, Kurt, how are you? You're going to have a palace after this. With all the renovations Jennifer has you doing, I mean, I am, like, truly impressed with all the work you're getting done. I am not that handy. If you run out of projects, Cassandra has plenty here. We have things that need painting, things that need repairing, all sorts of things. That's not what I do. I calculate, but I do not repair. They don't let me touch tools. I mean, people think that's funny and that I'm really joking, but no, I don't joke. I'm 1,000% serious. Tools is not where I add value. We had this lady in our furniture store one time. This little old lady was at the front counter, and she's like, there was a nail sticking out of our beadboard on our counter, and she's like, it was just sticking out just a little bit, and she's like, you need to get a hammer and tap this in. And I'm like, sure, I'll have our handyman take care of that. And she's like, you just gotta get a hammer and tap it in. And I'm like, no, they don't let me touch the tools. And she's like, get a hammer. I'm like, no, they don't let me do that. She's like, she's like 80-something. She's like, well, give me the hammer. I'll do it. And finally, she goats me into it. And I finally get the hammer out. And I go around the front of the counter. Then I drop the hammer on my knee. And then it hits my foot. And then, this is why they don't let me touch tools. So that's the short version of it. But that's reality in Neil's world. I apologize that my notes aren't as organized as usual because my day has been literally crazy. I appreciate that you can laugh with me, Kurt, but we can drink together too. We're on the scotch again tonight. So lots happening in the world of business today, so I'm going to give you some of that on broader business things that are going on. It's Blur's Day. I like that, Vicky. That's tomorrow. Tomorrow's Blur's Day. Today is Hump Day. Okay? And I don't do it nearly as well as the commercial. So, on this day in the United States, nationwide, in all the airports today, there were 97,000... Hey, Christine, you got your bourbon. I like that you can drink like that. And drink me under the table. Today, there were 97,000 air travelers today. The people that got onto airplanes went through the TSA checkpoints today. On this day, same day last year. So actually, this is yesterday. So these are yesterday's numbers. So yesterday, 97,000 passengers. On the same day last year, 2.1 million travelers in the United States. So it just shows you the economic effects of this in other industries and how it's affecting other things. Airports, airlines, car rental, hotels, just restaurants. Just huge economic effect. Welcome to the party, Julie Jankowicz. The same is happening, and some of these other statistics really are going to help our industry in coming out of this, okay? I am so excited about our industry coming out of this. Hey, Sylvia. I like that you have the Blue Mountains of Coors, and I can drink that when I come to your store the next time. I can kick back and have a Blue Mountain of Coors with you, Kitty. I am amazingly flexible. So into numbers that are going to be great for our industry coming out of this. Container traffic, international trade, things that are coming on a container from somewhere to the U.S. Okay, best estimates are down from 13 to 32%. Okay, that is huge. I mean, that is a huge drop in merchandise, in things coming to this country. in all ways, shapes, or forms because of this. So that is going to be huge. I talked about it last night, how Gap had canceled all these orders. The fact that we are going to have merchandise in our stores, that everybody is home cleaning out and getting ready for you, is going to be huge on our way out of this. Okay? I know that many of us are in our stores and we're the ones doing everything for staff of 10s or 5 or 20. You're doing everything right now. You are that person wearing all those hats right now. But preparing your stores for the reopening and reopening of the country is going to be so important, and we're going to talk so much about it in the coming weeks. But these things are great because other places aren't able to do that right now. Okay, TJ Maxx is furloughing most of its 286,000 workers. Okay, they are furloughing most of them, including distribution centers, stores, warehouses. Everything. That's going to impact them. That doesn't start right back up in merchandise on the floor. Your merchandise will be back on the floor. In other retail news, Pier 1, which everyone just a couple weeks ago thought was completely dead, it looks like there is a plan to save 100 of the stores, which would be nice. I mean, I like, the core of Pier 1 and what they've done over the years is good. They got saddled with a lot of debt and a lot of other problems, but, the core of that is good. So I want to keep that in mind. I have a new matrix on the 3 steps to a disaster loan, and I'll be posting that tomorrow, and that'll get, Dell will get that reposted to the resale strong page after I get it up to her. But that'll be coming your way tomorrow. It's just another visual aid to help clarify things. And we're going to talk a lot tonight about the SBA. A lot tonight. It's been crazy. And I posted earlier, and I think Adele already reposted it. The 10 steps all workplaces can take to reduce the risk of exposure. That's a good poster to print, okay? It's good to print it because that is where that was actually put out by OSHA, okay, in conjunction with the CDC. So the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, right? OSHA. I'm getting all my government acronyms messed up here, but that is a great poster to have in your stores, especially as we come out of this, just to keep in mind, and especially for stores where accidents can happen in general, just injuries where OSHA might come involved, like furniture stores, or like when I was talking to Dennis earlier, he was up on a ladder, but Jana usually has him up on a ladder. So just keep that in mind. I would print that off. If Adele hasn't moved that to the resale strong page yet, it will be tomorrow. But it is a good thing. And Jim, truly my pleasure to help you and Scott today. I'm so excited to see your store in the daylight and to see it. I mean, I was telling Scott on how I drove up there in the middle of the night up those curves to your store and everything. But I was also telling my wife today all the pictures you post of views from the mountain. I just love the true pictures you post of your area, and I want to see that in the daylight. I want to see the beauty of the North Carolina mountains that where your store is located, Jim, and get there. It's your pedestal. Okay, Dennis, I like it. I like it. It gives you a sense of control. I get it. I honestly do. And as the man in a house with 3 generations of women and who works with all women, I aspire for a pedestal. Okay, hang on a second. I've got other inspiration. You guys have been sending me lots of inspirational things, and I appreciate that. I have lots of new ones coming, and let's see. Am I just going to go? Yeah, let's go with what's on top. Fear has 2 meanings. Forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. The choice is yours. I like that. Fear has two meanings. Forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. The choice is yours. I like that. I like that a lot. So, where's my notepad here? Hang on a second. Did I put down my notepad? I told you I didn't have time to get organized tonight, like I usually do. Where'd my notepad go? Ah, there it is. It's under the pile of things I've talked about. So, you're all still with me. This is good. Lorna, thanks for joining us. So I mentioned to you in yesterday's talk that the administrator of the SBA, Yvonne Carrazza, I'm trying not to get her name wrong. You all know that I'm terrible with names. Okay, I talked about her yesterday and how she really wanted to know the things and the challenges we were facing, okay, as business people. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Oh, Kurt, you're making me laugh here while I'm supposed to be talking and helping you guys get all on board. So I told you that you know on this that I was on yesterday. She really wanted to know what was happening on the front lines, what was going on, and what effects we were having on the front lines, what challenges, what information lack, what was really going on. Sarah, you're on my call list for tomorrow, so you will get your call back tomorrow. I'm really making progress on that, believe it or not. I think I'm almost up to done with the weekend, but we're going to get caught up. Tomorrow's desk day, so I'm not even going to try to leave my desk. But happy Passover. Thank you, Diane. Yes. And we're going to eliminate plague for this, okay? But, so I told you last night, I really didn't have high expectations for that. Okay? I appreciated the sentiment from her, and in her position, Orlando, I like Orlando. Jennifer, welcome to the program. A lot of politicians, a lot of leaders, a lot of people in government, talk a good game, but action is something different. And it's regardless of party. I mean, half the time I'm in Washington, when I go down to Washington to talk about things, is they want to agree with you. The talks go like this. I wish I could, I'm all for you, but the whole other side's against us. But when they're with us, I'm totally there for you. And, where's my thingy here? And so that's what I expected. I appreciated the ask, but I didn't really expect action. Ask and action are two very, very different things. This morning, as the clock struck 9 on the East Coast, my phone started ringing, okay? And it didn't stop all day long. Some of you know that when I was on the phone with you, I was getting calls 2 at a time from the Small Business Administration. And they were trying to make sure that they understood each of the concerns I outlined and what we wanted to have done. As businesses, one of my parting lines in my communication is that we're not totally looking for a handout, but we do need a hand up. This is unprecedented times. We're going through this. Every business in America is going through this. It is hard. It is tough, but we will survive. Our best days are ahead of us, and I acknowledge that. But we need help to get ahead. We need help to get us through the mud. Help us, pull us out of the mud, and don't overcomplicate things. So what does that mean, don't overcomplicate things? It means that you shouldn't have to sit on hold for 5 hours to find out that your application is in process, that you should get a confirmation number, that you should be able to check your application online, that you shouldn't have to wait for the mail to do your closing, that you should be able to do your closing online if you've got a printer with ink. that you should be able to get funds. What we need now is money, because what's causing the stress is not only the unknown of when this is going to end, when you're going to be able to reopen, okay, but that you don't have money to pay, and we take it very personally. Small business takes the obligations that we've made very personally. So they have responded I have talked to more people in more different departments at the SBA today than I knew existed. I've talked to IT, I've talked to legal, I've talked to people on the front lines processing loans, I've talked to people in the call center. These people have all reached out to me all day long, okay, to make sure they were understanding the concerns correctly, that when you call in, you have to go through a maze of phones. You have to go through basically the same menu twice if you call the customer service number. You know, that they wouldn't need so many people if they actually communicated some of these things. The status of your loan, okay? Telling you honestly what to expect and when, okay? That it didn't have to go through 12 hoops to get closing. I mean, you know, I've been told for over a week that mine is in the mail, my closing, okay? And, still not in the mail, and we can't even get mail right now because they turned off our mail route because the stores on the route are closed, so we have to go to the post office to get it. And every day I make the trip to the post office, and it's kind of depressing because there's just bills there. That's all I need to go. I don't need to go get the bills. I know those will wait, okay? But, you know, we need to reduce small business stress, and I've just been amazed at the response of everybody in the SBA to these things. They are about to get the website back up so it will have a login. I will post it tomorrow, okay, so that you can check on your application, okay, and that'll be updated. It'll then, when that moves forward, that'll have all the places where you'll be able to do everything, including close your loan, and complete any additional paperwork. They're updating all of that. It's truly, it's your voice. I'm just the spokesperson right now for it. I'm honestly, I don't get in awe of too much, but I've been in awe of what's happened here today. And, you know, I'm just a little guy with a couple stores, you know, in Massachusetts and employ some people, but they take small business seriously at the Small Business Administration, and it's been amazing. So I expect that you'll have a way to follow up on things. I expect that we will have later this week a better timeline on when you will have economic injury disaster loan money in your accounts. I expect that the advances will start arriving in the accounts. They are streamlining the PPP. Eric posted earlier, Eric Abrams. He didn't get the son. He's just an Abrams, not an Abrams son. Okay, but hey, you know, Abramson came out of Ellis Island. That's a weird story, but we were Smuckleroviches, something like that, when my grandparents came to Ellis Island. They couldn't spell it, couldn't pronounce it, so your Abramson, go to Schenectady. Okay, is coming off the boat in Ellis Island is the short version of that story. True story. I know I wasn't there. But these things are happening. They are changing. They are making these things happen to streamline things so that you get an email confirmation, so that you know what's happening, so that you can connect with a loan officer. They are moving all these steps forward, okay? So that you get the right paperwork to the right person so they can just check all the boxes. All these steps are happening, and they are moving very, very fast. I've already seen the web page. They've got the web page up, but they were having a problem with the existing logins as of a couple hours ago. So they're working on that to fix all that. Hang on a second, I'm reading questions here. The PPP, there are going to be streamlined applications with other lenders by the end of the week. Okay, the PPP side of things is getting very advanced very fast. You're going to have Cabbage is already a lender, and while, you know, some of you may think they're a terrible lender for their traditional programs, and some of you may think they're a lifeline, and some of you may not know who they are, they're already processing PPP loan applications online. PayPal should be online by the end of the week offering them, which will be another trusted source. And there's going to be a couple others rapidly coming online to take advantage of this. They're in it for the money because the government is... and that's awesome, Shelley. I'm glad to hear yours. PPP is at the bank and already applied on Monday. Mine is at my bank. I actually got a call this morning that mine is all set. They just want to know when I want the money, which is awesome. And mine's a nice community bank. And they had contacted me at 7 a.m. for just to verify one other question. And by, I think, 10 a.m., they were like, everything's all set. We're ready whenever you want the money. Now, as Eric posted earlier, the current guidance from the SBA, okay, so let's talk about the PPP for a second here. The PPP, the current guidance from the SBA is asking banks to disperse those funds within 10 days of approval. So 10 days from the date you get approved is what the SBA is asking. In talking with them today, I explained why businesses like many of ours would not benefit from that, okay? It's benefiting businesses that are still operating or even operating at full capacity. It's just free payroll for them. Like I have a friend who, does different services and things, and he's straight out right now with his staff and generating revenue. Businesses like us that are closed, this actually hurts if you take it right away and you're closed or you don't have payroll right now. Because, again, the requirements for the PPP, and this part is not going to change, okay? The requirements for the PPP is that you have to spend 75% of it on payroll, and you have to bring your payroll up to 75% of pre-crisis levels in dollars and in head count, okay, for the 8 weeks following disbursement. So the day you get the money in the account starts the clock of the 8 weeks. And it's not like at the end of the 8 weeks you have to be at that level. You have to maintain that level for those 8 weeks following disbursement. And for some of you, that is a real challenge. I talked to one store today that's like a 2-person operation. Not a big deal to hit that threshold, okay? But for somebody with 20 employees, that means you have to bring back 15, okay? And this is... The number of employees is based on full-time equivalents. So that is, again, the number of payroll hours last year divided by 52 divided by 40 gives you your number of full-time equivalent employees. So if you have a high number to hit, that can be a challenge, and I don't want this converting into a loan. I want this to be a blessing on your business. Because business levels, the initial, after things are allowed to start reopening, okay, and it will be a leveled response, like I've talked about. They are not going to allow every table to have a body at it when restaurants are allowed to reopen. They're going to be something like every other table, okay? And that's going to go on for another 30 days past them letting things, or so, past them letting things reopen so that we don't end up with another epidemic of or hotspot of it. Dennis, it's based on a 40-hour week. Based on a 40-hour week is the calculation to get a full-time equivalent. So total payroll hours, okay, for the year, divided by 52 weeks, divided by 40 hours in the week is the calculation that they're using to get your full-time equivalents. The PPP is direct with your local bank. Okay, if you're not getting the answer you want from your local bank, you can use one of the other lenders down the road for that. But the PPP is different than the economic injury disaster loan, except for that the advance on the economic injury disaster loan, if you apply to accept the advance on the economic injury disaster loan, that money comes off of any PPP money you would get. If you have a confirmation number on the economic injury disaster loan, Stephanie, you don't need to reapply. You'll be able to check your status online in the next day or two. Okay, tops. The IT department there is working their butt off. And that's fine too, Eric. You can pay your people. I know you still have some people on. You've been painting and doing other projects, or you're not going to have them come in, and that's fine. You can do that as well. Or you can be paying their benefits with it. Or, because I know some of you are closed but are still paying their health insurance benefits. Health insurance benefits do count. If you're paying, like I pay life and disability, they do not count. Okay, where that's a separate payment. But health insurance and retirement benefits do count as an acceptable use for the 75% of PPP money. Lindsay, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, the EIDL, did not do away with the $10K not payback, but if you apply for the PPP, so the $10,000 advance on the Economic Injury Disaster Loan has now been defined. They defined this yesterday, I think it was yesterday, okay, as they're going to give you $1,000 per employee up to $10,000. That money, if you do not apply for a PPP, does not have to be paid back. If you apply for the PPP, okay, then you do not, then that $10,000, up to $10,000 gets deducted from your PPP. Jaya, unemployment claims are not going to get charged against the businesses. They are in the sense that hasn't been legislated yet. Okay, that they actually have to file legislation for that. There is no disagreement. There is nobody disagreeing about waiving that for all businesses that were affected by this this disaster for unemployment claims. But it hasn't actually been there. So 75, yes, Stephanie, 75% of your FTEs do need to come, you need to have 75%. They do not have to be the same people. So if someone does not want to come back to work, you need to replace them with somebody else. Can advance a P? No, you're only going to get a max. So if your PPP calculation, Nancy, is $15,000, and you applied for the advance, and you have 10 employees, you're only going to get $5,000 when they issue the check for the PPP, because they would have given you $10,000 as an advance. If you only have 5 employees and they gave you a $5,000 advance, they are going to give you $10,000 from the PPP. But feel free to reach out to me, and I'm happy to do the math, help you do the math, and make sure that your calculation is right. It's supposed to be, Christine, the advance is supposed to be per full-time equivalent. Since it's being done hastily, and I don't guarantee 100% on the implementation of that. Okay, so some people might get more than they should, and some people might get a little less. But ultimately, the goal is to move this money out fast, okay? That they are accelerating, they are getting the systems in place so they can just move this from talking about it to cash in people's bank accounts. So that is going to start accelerating. You're going to start seeing economic injury disaster loans in 30 days or less, probably closer to 20-something days. I'll have an update on that tomorrow. But the goal is just to keep on, is to get money pumped out, because that is what's going to allow the restart of the economy. Depends on your area, Vina. So calling employees back if we're under a stay-at-home order depends on your area. Stay-at-home isn't the same as shelter-in-place. Okay? Because if their job, like the job that you have for them, can't be performed at home, under employment law, you can have them come in as long as you're taking reasonable CDC and OSHA precautions for that. You can require them to come back in and require them to work. And they can't say they won't come in for fear of the virus. So that is a real thing with that. And labor law, they've been really specific about that as part of it. But obviously, if you don't have work for them, it's not worth calling them back to work. So if you can't open your doors, because a lot of the shelter-in-place, the stay-at-home orders have forced our businesses to close as non-essential. And we don't want to be on the wrong side of that, because in different jurisdictions, the health departments are actually suing businesses that try to deem themselves as essential when they're not. So you don't want to fall yourself on the wrong side of that. You want to be a good citizen and good to your employees and customers. And if your register's not going to be ringing, anyways, even with your online sales, it's still only a percentage of your business. You want to be doing that. That is going to be updated. I'm hopeful that Alexa, I'm hopeful that tomorrow, if not the next day, that the website will be completely up for checking your loan status with the SBA. As soon as it is, I will post it. I have the link. They've sent it to me to share with everybody. They've sent me the direct address to the what is going to be the web page for checking your status, and I have that. It's just not fully operational. They haven't linked what you set up with your application to it yet. But the IT guys, I mean, they're literally working 24 hours a day. I mean, I cannot tell you how surprising the number of times my phone rang today. And I mean, for me, I don't get in awe of all these Washington people. I really don't. I mean, it's, whoever you are, so what? You're the Speaker of the House. I really sit and talk and expect things, and to see all the action that they have done, because I gave them all our challenges. I did it. I showed dates. I showed times. I showed what you're facing and why you're facing uncertainty, and what they could do to remove that uncertainty. So just having a working website that would tell you your status and what the next steps are would remove uncertainty and would make people sleep better at night, would help you communicate with landlords that you're not paying or other vendors that you're not paying, okay, if you could communicate with certainty. And so that was my big ask, was help give us certainty. You don't have to put the money in our bank account tomorrow, although that would be great. None of us would say no, okay? But give us certainty on what the steps are, when that will happen, okay? People aren't in business to do paperwork and shuffle all this stuff. They've never done this before. Many of you have never. I mean, some of you have had horrible disasters, natural disasters happen, and you have dealt with the SBA before. But the SBA has never dealt with this. What was the quote Cassandra said? That was really good when you said that to him. I think it was something like, these are extraordinary times, and I appreciate the extraordinary effort that they were doing, or something along those lines. She's like, where did you come up with that? But it is extraordinary times, and they are extraordinary people and doing extraordinary things, and I make sure I let them know that every time, and every person that has reached out to me for the SBA, because I am thankful, and, I know, well, some of them actually asked out loud who the heck I am, but it's really irrelevant. I'm just the guy that wants to help everybody be better, okay? I am the guy that wants to make sure businesses don't close because of this. There's lots of other reasons to close. This isn't one of them, okay? I am not letting any business that was not closing before close because of this. I will do whatever I can to make sure that doesn't happen. That is correct, Jaya. You can't claim unemployment, you or your employees, once you get the PPP. You got to have them back to work. Cindy, that is correct. $1,000 per full-time equivalent employee. Full-time equivalent is the math. Karen, they do, but the idea is to get people off unemployment. That's why I'm personally delaying when I take the PPP money, okay? So the guidance that the SBA currently has given, and I'm working on them to extend that guidance, okay, and understand the situation we face, and understand the situation our team members face. This is hard on all of them as well, okay, is let us get open and then disperse the funds. Let us be open. If we're open, then it's a level playing field. Get our people back to work and do it with that. But currently the guidance is 10 days. Your bank doesn't have to commit to that guidance. My bank is working with me to get me open. I may not even take it the first week we're open. I may wait a week or two to let business build up with it. But I want to reap the benefit that other companies are reaping right now, where they're generating revenue and getting payroll, because that allows us to ground ourselves. That allows us to get our feet on the ground, okay? Instead of flailing all over the place, okay? That allows us to put our business feet on the ground, get our head in the game, and get back to work and get this economy running again. Because the best days are ahead of us. The best days are not behind us. And I am 100% with that. That is correct, Eric. If when we tell them to come back, they may not have a job and they can lose their unemployment benefits, that is our responsibility to the unemployment system to acknowledge that we called them back and they didn't come. Okay, that is a choice they can make, but they don't get to have it both ways. They don't get to say, I don't want to come back, and still collect the unemployment with all the bonuses that are coming, the extra $600 a week. So that is not a choice. Hey, Russell, thanks for joining us. Hi, Lily, if she's watching us too. Nikki, just to confirm, on the PPP, when they ask for the number of employees on the PPP application, the number that you enter is full-time equivalents. That is correct. Do you round up? A lot of this is rounding down. The actual PPP money rounds down, okay? A lot of the SBA stuff rounds down instead of up, both in dollars and in things. So I have actually been rounding down, has been the general guidance I've been given by the SBA. No, Michelle, so I would list 3. Kneel for Congress. I like to be the guy behind pulling the strings. I don't want to actually be the elected thing. Vina, I'm quite happy when all these people actually do the things that we ask, okay, and that they take our positions and stuff seriously. I don't need to be the guy on the floor arguing for it. I certainly don't want to be the guy going around the country and spending every night trying to raise money so that I can get reelected. I just don't get the math. The math behind that, raise $100 million to get a job that pays 100 and something, it doesn't make sense to me. I would love to fix campaign finance, but that really gets us off topic here tonight. You have no idea. I was on some calls today, Jennifer, when they called me, and I'm like, I got a hold, the SBA is calling me. And literally at times I had multiple people from the SBA calling me at the same time. And it was really, I am forever indebted to that, but it's the way I communicated. I gave them action steps that would solve the problem. I didn't just come at them with the problem. I didn't just come at them complaining about what is wrong. If you look at all my communication, if that were to end out in the public sphere, all my communication with them, it started with thanking them, okay, for what they have done, okay, that they're an amazing organization under normal circumstances, okay. They have done amazing things for businesses around this country under normal circumstances. They've been dropped into the Indy 500 with a bicycle to race with, but they're gonna help America get through this. So I acknowledge all that. I then listed out the problems that we're all facing, all of us, okay. And keep in mind, I'm crossing industries. I am helping anyone. I've had some of you line up with 4 of your friends' questions, okay? Thank you for answering all my questions, Neil. Now I have my friend who runs the bakery across the street, my friend who has the dry cleaner, my friend who has the car wash. These are their questions. Can you help with those? I answer everybody's questions. I got pizza for dinner tonight, calzone and salad. I don't know what else is back there, but I helped a restaurant tonight. So, I'm helping everybody because I don't want any of Main Street to close. Okay, I want none of it. So I want us all to the other side. Last night I got takeout from one of my friends who runs a Brazilian steakhouse. He walks around with the meats and shaves them and everything. He's adapted. I loved Cassandra fell in love with him because he's doing grocery staples. So like flour that Jennifer seems to be hoarding in Florida, and tomatoes and all these things that he has no problems getting from his restaurant suppliers because all the restaurants are closed. He offered takeout of, order your dinner and then order, staples like lettuce, eggs, butter, sugar, flour, all these staples that he can get from the food suppliers, Okay? He's like, you can order that too. And he offered that as part of his restaurant. I thought it was freaking brilliant. Okay? But it got us to order takeout from him last night. So he's adapting. He's a hustler. And I'm so proud of him and to call him a friend. What if you okay, Lorna, I'm moving on to your question. I'm getting everybody's questions here. Don't worry, I'm just sliding down the list as I got them. I'm going to answer everybody. That your store is located in with no employees and no rent coming in. Can I apply for an economic injury disaster loan? Lorna, you can apply for an economic injury disaster loan for each tax ID number. So that has nothing to do with the PPP is all about payroll. The economic injury disaster loan is about the disaster and its effect on the income for each of your business. So if your rental business has one tax ID number and your store has another, both can apply for an economic injury disaster loan. That is not a problem. Okay? You would only, if you asked for the advance, you would only get $1,000 because they would assume one employee per company. Okay, but it's based on tax ID number. That's correct, Eric. Absolutely. The rounding down is where it's at. They have rounded down all these numbers and that because they want to make sure you hit it. And again, that goes to traditional banking. The bankers want to insure it. They don't want to have, think of your community bank, Eric. You've banked there forever. Okay. I have with my bank as well. Okay. And they don't want you mad at them that this went south. Okay. That you didn't get the credit. So that's exactly why round down with these PPP numbers. I'm sorry, Carrie. Some banks just aren't going to delay that funding, and that becomes an issue. You know, they don't get paid, Carrie, unless they fund the loan. And some of them don't understand the long-term effects of this. So I definitely am all for delaying, within your banks. I think some of your people's banks, just based on the knowledge of, think car salesman. When do you get your best deal on a car? At the end of the month, okay? And so I expect some of the banks that are flexible to only be flexible within this month because they want to get their money in this. And they're on most loans, they're making 5%. So whatever your loan amount is, take 5% of that, and the banks and the government is giving them all the money for your loan back, okay, plus 5%. That's how much they're making. Banks are making some very quick money on this. For very little work in the whole scheme of things. My bank called me today and they didn't know anything about the possibility of delaying disbursement. Yes, in this specific, and I can post the guidance directly from the SBA. So in the current rules to the bank, I have the rules given to the bank as of today, okay, that were updated as recently as today. And it says they can delay for at least 10 days. So even if it's tomorrow, that puts you at the 19th. Every day is better to make this work. And if you need help with your specific situation, making this work, reach out to me. I will help you. I will look at your specific situation, and I will help you make your specific situation work. There is nobody going down in this. I am carrying anybody that I can to the other side. We are going 1,000% to the other side. Okay? No store left behind. Okay? We are Resale Strong. If it's under its own LLC and tax ID number, Lorna, then it's fine. You can both apply for an economic injury disaster loan. That is exactly what I'm recommending, Cynthia. So I'm recommending people file for unemployment, take the unemployment, take the extra $600 right now, which will be great for a lot of people. And again, it will help the economy when all the stores are open. I am looking forward to having all businesses open. People can get out of their house, and people have flooded this cash. I mean, you got to keep in mind, all these people that have money, Cynthia, are going to spend it. Okay, the vast majority. It's not like you're going to hear U.S. savings rates because of the pandemic went up. Not going to happen. Okay, Americans don't change like that. Okay, I am concerned about business spending, and I want to be cautious with that, especially with economic injury loan disaster loan proceeds. But we'll talk about that more as that money starts rolling out. Kelly, for the one NPR interview, NPR loved me, okay? I gotta say that NPR loved me. I appreciate you asking. NPR loved me because I was so knowledgeable. I knew about everything. I was able to talk about everything and inform them in ways that they weren't. And them and a few other people that have been interviewed, that interviewed me, the problem with me is I'm too positive, okay? I understand all these. I understand the restraints of trying to shove all this money down a small pipe in a very fast way. I understand what everybody's up against, and I'm trying to fix it. I just don't want to sit around and complain about it. They wanted a very negative piece. Most of the interviews that I've been up for, and people that have interviewed me, have wanted a very negative piece. They want to hear how everybody is, how awful everything is, and how nobody cares, and how awful. And that's not the truth, okay? The systems aren't in place to make the government response successful, but they're getting there, and the people behind it want to make it successful. The people behind it want nothing more than all the businesses to survive. I mean, I'm like, I can't wait to go and party with all the people that helped me out of the Dallas, and that I helped in the Dallas SBA office, because in Dallas, that's 817 area code that I've told you to watch for, okay? That's where most of the disaster response team is in Dallas-Fort Worth, okay? And when this is all over, I want to go down there and throw a big party for them. I mean, one, Southern food is freaking awesome. Okay, love Southern food. Okay, where's my Sonia with her fried okra? But I love Southern food. In Dallas, I love to eat in Dallas. I love the fried chicken and the ice cream. I love it all. Okay, but these are phenomenal people, and so I couldn't just crap all over them. And that really hurt me in some of the interviews that I've talked to, that people have reached out to me to interview, has been hurting me. So, but I appreciate your concern on that. Crystal, that's using, for the economic injury and disaster loan calculations, $1,000 per employee using full-time equivalents is correct, and they're using 2019 numbers is the preferred calculation on that. Hey, Alice, how are you? I just talking Dallas-Fort Worth. Nice to see you with us. Jenny, you have to talk to your bank. The bigger the bank, the less likely they are to delay. The smaller the bank, the better the relationship, the more likely they are to delay. Okay? My bank's a great community bank, about 30 branches, and, quite honestly, since the day everything hit, it's been all about what can they do for me. And, I said if things got really, really bad, all I care about is my people and getting them taken care of. And they were like, out of everybody that had contacted the bank, okay, in my specific area, they're like, you're the first person to actually mention their people. And so they're like, we will do whatever, just let us know. You need anything, you need checks covered, whatever you need. They've been awesome. I actually had an email from the teller line today from one of the tellers, and you can all appreciate this. So when I know it's probably hard to believe, but when I go in and I'm at my bank, we talk a lot. They want to know what's happening, what's new at the store, everything. We just get talking. And so it's not uncommon for them to make a mistake with my change order. Okay, either because I gave the wrong amount, whatever, they gave too much money, whatever. So when they're off, when their drawer is off, when any of the tellers' drawer is off, I'm their go-to person. They're like, oh, we better check with Neil was in. We were in balance before Neil. We better check with Neil to see if they're off. And so the teller was off. I was off $1 yesterday, and I couldn't call you to see if it was you. And so they were sad. And so that was just so great. And I miss them too. I miss that interaction. It's part of the reason, like, when my staff needs change fast, they don't send me to the bank because everybody wants to talk to me. Mandy, exactly. It's all about thanking them. They are under tremendous pressure, and most people are crapping all over them. And so when they hear somebody positive, when they hear how great we are going to be, how great business is going to be after all this, it really pumps them up to take the next call that's going to crap on them. So a couple of other SBA changes before I keep on going down my question list here. I only see so many on the screen at a time, so I'm at Mandy, but I'll work my way down. I stay until I answer every question, okay, is that they, many, I don't even know when, we talked about waiving personal guarantees and everything else. So they will waive personal guarantees now, so under their new guidance on economic injury disaster loans, they are waiving personal guarantees on anything $200,000 or less. They are having personal guarantees on anything $200,000 or over. So with that, and then it's still a colonoscopy on anything over $500,000. So with that in mind, you can take $200,000 and you can, let's say you were approved for an economic injury disaster loan of $250,000. You can take the $200,000 and have it personal guarantee free, okay, and just on your business. And then if you end up needing the additional $50,000, you can go back for a loan amendment, and they will do an amendment, give you the $50,000, and add the personal guarantee on that. So that is something to keep in mind. It is doom and gloom sells. It's kind of like sex, Angie. Doom and gloom and sex sell, being positive doesn't. And I'm generally a positive person. I'm not going to roll over and crawl into a mall. We're going to get to the other side of this, and the other side is freaking amazing, especially as other retailers retrench. Our industry is poised, with all the cleaning out that's going on, to be amazing. And I know as some of you have gotten online recently, refining those systems, getting those procedures in place so you can be awesome. I mean, we're working, one of the only categories of merchandise we don't have online in volume is clothing. Clothing, shoes, accessories. We have all our home decor. It's a higher price point for the market we deal with. Again, Leominster, Mass., Vera Bradley's high-end. So you have to keep in mind the market that I'm dealing with and that I deal with, and that I also do a huge volume of kids. So to get that all online is a project, but we've been working on our systems to get that up and going, and we're working on an automatic camera that can be shooting. We're doing some amazing things to, again, get that going for when we do have staff back. Okay, and I've been keeping part of this comes back to partnerships. It's all about people. So working your partnerships with your software vendors, doesn't matter who they are all there to help. You can call Traxia, you can call Liberty, you can call ConsignPro, you can call Computer Peeps, you can call SBS. I don't care who you deal with, they just want to help make sure you were there on the other side. Okay? All of them do. Heart them. I can't do graphics here. Heart them. They love you. And they want to make sure that you are there feeling the love on the other side, because they know the other side of this is amazing. Absolutely freaking amazing is going to be the other side of this. So we will get to the other side. We have to walk through the mud, okay, the quicksand, but we're going to get to the other side, and it is going to be amazing. So don't worry about that. Don't. That's why limit your news content to 15 minutes a day, not so you're stupid and your head's in the sand, but so that you can stay positive. Yes, Dallas has awesomely great food, and I can't wait to come down there and partake in it again. Babe's Fried Chicken is one of my favorite places. They serve everything family style, so you order fried chicken and meatloaf and all this different food, and it's just amazing. And yes, we will have a big Dallas party. Whoa, we had a lot of late people. Hey, Ellen, how are you? Ellen Adams and Carmela Jackson. You're now sitting on the treadmill, Melissa. Well, just wait, because you're on my after party list tonight, too. Stretch, reach for the wine. Oh, I love it. Andrew, how strict is the usage in the economic injury disaster loan? Andrew, You cannot go buy a boat with it. You cannot go on vacation with it. And you cannot use it for the same thing as the PPP during the PPP period. That is why I'm telling people that taking both the economic injury disaster loan and the PPP, put the PPP money in a separate account and pay the PPP stuff out of that specifically so it makes it nice, neat, and easy. You don't want your banker having to go through everything to pick and choose and say, well, what's this and what's that and how are you saying this is PPP? Make it really easy for them. I already have a separate payroll account. The only things that come out of that now are payroll, health insurance, and sales tax. It's going to be really easy for the bank to verify that what that was used for. Okay, keep it simple. You can't go buy a boat, okay? I say that to people. The only person that I say that can do that is Vina's husband. Okay, Vina's husband's in the boat business. He can go buy a boat, but he's in the boat business. It's okay. The rest of you, forget it. That's right. The future is awesome, Sarah. You have to stay positive. No fear in this, Nikki. We're getting to the other side. That's right. Be thankful. Look at the gifts, Angie Hendrick, that this time has given us, okay? This has given us such good time to find the positives in these times. There is amazing things in this time. Thank you, Carmela. Sarah, I'm all there with you. Yes, you will, Kurt. And, you know, over a scotch, a bourbon, a NARC conference drink, you know, I will even tell you the true stories behind some of the stuff on my list that nobody believes. Okay, all the stuff in the April newsletter that is in my infographic is the one I've told you. We've survived 100% of our worst days. All of them. Every single one of them is true. And I can't make this stuff up. Even when my wife heard some of these stories the first time, she's like, yeah, that's funny. And then she realizes Neil doesn't tell a good joke. If you haven't learned anything from these videos by this point, Neil doesn't tell a good joke. He doesn't sing well. He doesn't tell a good joke. But he does help us get to the other side. We're one day closer. That's great, Jennifer Dodds. You just made me laugh, okay? Oh. Michelle Denario. I add the D in there, sorry. You know, the way women's names show up on Facebook, guys don't have that problem, but I know people by their full Facebook name, which is not the right name, but that's okay. I digress. Not yet. They are close. I expect, again, the end of this week, beginning of the next week, I will absolutely tell you when self-employed or sole member LLCs can apply for unemployment, because I want you to get the money you're entitled to. You will get it retroactive to the date the CARES Act was signed, so do not worry. The states are super excited about it because they are taking money from the feds to pay for this. Not only are they taking money from the feds to pay for the unemployment benefits, they are getting paid for everything. I got a whole list. They'll pay for computer programmer time. They'll pay for everything. Copying time for the forms. You know, every little thing. The paper that the check gets printed on. I mean, I have a whole itemized list of all the things the Fed will pay for. It is partially hilarious, but that's what the states were waiting for before they did everything. And so, but they are actively working on this because the feds are also paying for overtime for it. So it's all going to happen. Do not worry. You will be made whole. You will get your money. I promise you. You can make payments on any business liability, Andrew. That is correct. Any liability that was under contract or existed prior to the disaster or is normal part of your operating expenses, you can pay. It's just about anything you can use with the economic injury disaster loan. My concern for people with the economic injury disaster loan, okay, more than I'm going to give you my two areas of concern, okay. My concern with the PPP okay, is that people get it converted to a grant. Flat out, okay? I want to make sure that you get it to a grant and not end out with a 2-year loan at 1%. It sounds cheap, but I do not want you to have a 2-year loan at 1%. I don't want you to have an extra loan, especially when it should be converted to a grant. So if there's any concern on that, reach out to me. I will help you make sure that your individual circumstances get it converted to a grant as best as possible. As far as the economic injury and disaster loan, you can use that for any non-PPP expense or outside the PPP use time frame. Because again, you don't know when that is going to end, when this normal exactly will end. My concern with people with the economic injury disaster loan is they are going to get a huge chunk of money. And we're going to talk about this in more detail in the coming weeks when we have a slow news day. But I am very concerned that you're going to get so much money that you're going to start spending like a drunken sailor, for lack of a better term. Okay? Or think you are richer than you are. Okay? Then you're going to wake up hungover a year from now and have a 30-year loan and like a mortgage payment. And I do not want anybody to be in that circumstance. So I will be working with you on processes, on better accounting, on making your business better so that you are more profitable, okay? Some of you that are not paying yourself and doing other things. And again, this is a no embarrassment zone, okay? So many of you start off, oh, I'm so embarrassed, I don't want to admit. Bull crappy, okay? There's no place for that, okay? Well, so-and-so has such a successful story. You are comparing your back room, what you know, okay, to somebody else's front of store. So you're comparing your back room to their front of store. Just digest that for a second, okay? Numbers don't lie, people do. And even if it's not intentional lie, okay, what you think of other people's stores and how successful they are, okay, or how much money they must have in their bank account is wildly, your minds are nuts, okay? Nuts, okay? I know everybody's numbers, and that's not that I'm kissing and telling here on videos and telling you Susie's numbers are this and Sally's numbers are that and Jane's numbers are this. I don't do that, okay? That's not the game I play. But I worry about you and your numbers, okay? And I worry about making you more profitable. And ultimately in this, I am going to make you all more profitable because I need you around, and I don't need you to have big loans. I got big loans, and I'm not gonna lie. Oh no, I don't want that. Okay, I'm not gonna rap here, the Jewish rapper. I love that, Eric. I'm coming to Iowa. I'm gassing up the car, coming to Iowa. To go margaritas, I'm down with that. Melissa and I are coming to, can we get a taco with that too, Eric? Because I might pick up Melissa and drive to Iowa. She's just sitting on her treadmill anyway. Cynthia, I hope to see you too as well. Hey, Dana. Lorna, yes, if you just have 2 full-time equivalents, you're going to get a $2,000 advance or grant from the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, the EIDL. You're only going to get that if you do not take the PPP. I meant to rephrase that. It stays as a grant from the EIDL if you don't take the PPP. If you take the PPP, the $2,000 in your example will reduce the amount you get on the PPP. All right, there's Alan there. Hey, everybody, this has been a great night. I'm going to have more updates for you tomorrow. I'm going to have websites to post. I'm going to have lots of great things. You know how to reach me. It is neil@eCIstores.com. That is Neil, Neil, @eCIstores.com. You can find me on Facebook, although email is better. You know the number. If you get a call from a 508 number, that means the call is coming from Neil. Take the call. If you get a number from an 817 number, take the call. That means the SBA is calling you. Okay? And you. Okay? If you get a call from an 800-366 number, that means the SBA is calling you. Hang on a second. Your messages are coming up here fast. Yes, Alexa, file for unemployment already. Okay, I won't report your dog grooming income as long as you groom Max. Because he's a little ragamuffin right now. Is that a word, ragamuffin? We are resale strong, okay? You, and especially you, are not alone running this store. Find us at narcs.org/resalestrong. Find me at Neil, Neil, at ECIstores.com. I'll be back here with new information tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. I'll be calling the people back that have left me their number. Hopefully I get my time zones right so I'm not calling people in the early morning hours. And you are not alone running this store. I am Neil Abramson. I do weddings. I do bar mitzvahs. I do quinceañeras. I don't know that word right. I can barely do English, people. But I'm all down for a party. I will see you soon. Thank you all for being here tonight. You are not alone running this store.